So, good morning, Kevin. Welcome to our Zoom session where we are hoping to find out a little bit more about yourself and what it is that you do and the amazing workshops and campaigns and other activities that you do, and speak a little bit about your editorial. So over to you.
Absolutely. Well, it's wonderful to be on, and I think Number 8 magazine is an incredible publication, and I'm really honored to be a part of it, to have both the front cover and the back cover for my productions. I'm Kevin Michael Schmitz. I'm a celebrity fashion photographer, executive producer, TV director, and host of the TV show Great Escapes that airs on CBS nationwide in the United States. Basically what we do is we go to the most ultra luxury destinations around the world, and we get to film and experience them. So essentially, we get to go to places like the Four Seasons Bora Bora, we've gone to the Conrad Maldives, shooting in underwater restaurants, out to Tokyo, having a samurai battle in Tokyo, to jumping out of an airplane over Mount Otomanu in French Polynesia, over Bora Bora. So it's an incredible experience, and I've been honored to be able to travel all over the world. We filmed 18 episodes in the most, ultra luxury destinations, and these are 5-star to even 7-star resorts. So I have a lot of experience with filming, directing, producing, doing the cinematography, doing the aerial drone work, doing underwater filming, and even scenes where I'm hanging out of a helicopter photographing over waterfalls in Maui. So that's quite an experience. So I have a lot of experience, not only as a TV director and executive producer and such, but also I have my bachelor's and did my MFA to be a professor of photography. And over time, I've been able to, shoot all kinds of incredible campaigns. In fact, the most amazing production we just did recently, literally last week. And in fact, I've done 2 campaigns for Burberry in the last 2 months. So I shoot, large scale, massive productions, oftentimes 6-figure campaigns. I've published over 250 magazine editorials. And, but what I'm mostly proud of, and what I would love to talk about today, is I've had the opportunity, because I felt that, going through the whole educational side as a photographer, I also realized that there was a huge need for many photographers, where they went to school for photography, and maybe they went out in the industry and tried to become a successful photographer, and they just kind of got stuck. They never made it to where they really truly wanted to. What their true potential was never came through. So for me, I wanted to create something that was able to transcend that, to catapult photographers and aspiring directors to take their photography to the next level. And so about 13 years ago, I developed the Photography Workshop Series. And now we've directed over 152 elite photographic workshops, where we bring photographers in. We give them an opportunity to shoot the greatest images they've ever shot in their lifetime, guaranteed. And they get to walk away with images that are so beyond anything they could have ever even imagined. In fact, many of them have been published in your magazine. In fact, images like this were shot at our elite masterclass in Los Angeles with supermodels Velena Potrova, who's been in Vogue. I mean, this is a massive scale production, shooting with parachutes, shooting at a water studio in Los Angeles, and in creating just mind-blowing, iconic images that these photographers would never even have access to on their own. So I'm really proud of that. And I've been able to develop thousands of photographers and give them an opportunity to walk on set and shoot a production that's so out of this world that it's grander than even my 6-figure ad campaign productions, because we have unlimited creative possibilities when we're photographing these situations.
Absolutely.
This was our Vegas experience. This was shot at our New York production on location at a castle designed to be identical to King Henry VIII's palace from the 1500s, with supermodels from Versace and Armani, or out here at the water studio. Unbelievable productions.
These are absolutely amazing, and as you've touched on, Kevin, we have been very proud to have featured some of the amazing work of your photographers and of your production in our magazine. And in fact, I think one of the images from one of the productions was also the cover of our first anniversary volume, and we're extremely proud and honoured to have been able to showcase some of the amazing work. What you touched on earlier on about bringing in photographers and giving them the opportunity to work in a way that they would never otherwise have an opportunity to, I think is very, very important. A lot of us feel that we are capable of managing our own portfolio development and progress. And we tend to think that we are progressing, and then we see some amazing work like what you've just presented here, and we as photographers suddenly realize, look, we haven't really achieved this. This is something that's just out of this world. We need a large team to be able to achieve this, or alternatively, to be able to attend a workshop that is extremely well organized, well presented, where everything is catered for in terms of the location, the models, the hair and makeup, the props, the creative direction, and people are there to guide you and show you what is going to happen and when it's going to happen. And all you have to do is really be in command of your camera and being able to create the shots that you feel you want to create with what you have available to yourself. And these are amazing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think that one of the biggest challenges many photographers have is that they don't have access to the scale of production. Most photographers, especially if you live in a smaller market, you don't even have access. It's not even possible for you to photograph with models that have been in Vogue or Vanity Fair or Harper's Bazaar or on Versace campaigns, let alone these insane massive scale productions like this one where we shot at our elite masterclass on location at the Olympic training facility for equestrian. In fact, one of the horses that we used on this set ended up winning the silver medal in the Olympics this year.
Wow.
Which was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So this is at a scale that's so far beyond most photographers' dreams, but what they want is they want to be able to create something like this. They want to have something where we create what we would call photographic currency. This is our most recent Chicago workshop where we shot on location at a ballroom built in the 1800s. And it's at an unbelievable, iconic location called the Palmer House. And we flew in top models from Los Angeles and shot just a complete, incredible, vintage, dreamlike scenario. And each theme of what we're doing is different. And in fact, not only each theme at a workshop, but each theme on each day, because we offer 5-day photographic experiences where each day we're going to be shooting at a different location, shooting a different scene, and creating a completely new, fresh editorial or advertising campaign that you're going to photograph and create. Essentially, we're trying to attain that 40-image cohesive body of work with at least 20 to 30 iconic images. And we're going to be giving you an opportunity to create that at our workshops in person under my guidance. And I'm there personally to work with each photographer. And not only do I produce it, direct it, I do the cinematography, but also I guide the photographers. And I don't let them leave a set until they've shot the greatest images they've ever shot in their life. I make sure to work with them personally until they walk away with an image that's so iconic that they would just be like, oh my gosh, all right, now I am ready to go.
Exactly. I think the investment in time, the commitment to the photographer, to the participants in the workshop, and being able to have a variety of workshops per day when you're in the 5-day workshop series, I think it's very, very important as well, because when a photographer goes to do a shoot, it would take them anywhere between 20 hours and let's say 200 hours to work on a fairly large campaign. And that's only one day at a workshop like yours, for example, because you have invested all of that time and effort to develop a program for each different day. And this is where I think the photographers have a lot to gain that they simply cannot manage to put together themselves, irrespective of the number of contacts they have and everything like that, simply because it is a mammoth task. And to have someone who can put all of that together and then give them the opportunity to participate in that under guidance and under instruction as they need it, when they need it, to be able to achieve an outcome that, as you correctly said, well beyond their own expectations, and being able to create a body of work that you've identified that can constitute a complete editorial set that then they can walk off with and have published in magazines, showcase to their potential clients, and start leveraging their new skills and experience to be able to increase not only their income, but also the perception that people have of their own, of this individual photographer's ability and the kind of people and the kind of work that this photographer is able to achieve.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what we're watching right now is actually what we had done at our Las Vegas workshop this last year, where we shot on location at a dry lake bed out in the desert, and we shot with a massive scale. We actually built this set with a full-scale scaffolding scene out on a dry lake bed and cracked earth. And we flew in all these top models from LA, and we shot these just dreamlike scenarios. And also, by the way, all this video that you're watching, this was all shot by the attendees of the workshop. And that's what's really exciting, is that it's not only shot at the workshop, but each attendee gets the opportunity to photograph and film with 8K cameras, creating these unbelievable productions. This was shot at our Elite Masterclass at our Desert Fashion production, where we shot out at we're doing a Mad Max story. And the scale of something like this, I mean, I don't even know any photographers that are doing anything like this at the scale. I mean, even world-class photographers that are shooting things for the biggest publications and the biggest campaigns, the scale of this is movie set scale.
Yep.
Where we bring in all of the wardrobe appropriate to the Mad Max story, all the props, even the vehicles.
Yep.
Or what we're doing in New York, where we're shooting with these supermodels that have been in Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, and we're shooting scenes on top of a skyscraper of a building, and then creating these unbelievable moments with these top models with unbelievable fashion styling. These are some of the top celebrity stylists in the world, shooting with a $50,000 owl, shooting scenes with out in the Hamptons in Long Island, and just creating these just dreamlike scenarios. It's really exciting. And I feel so proud of what my photographers are able to achieve, because everything I'm showing you was shot by attendees of the experience. This is not just stuff from the director, from myself. It's actually shot by attendees. And that's what's really exciting, because unlike anything else out there, we are the only, photographic experience where everything you see, all of our branding, all of our publications, editorials, videos, everything is done by the people actually attending these workshop experiences.
I think that's amazing. I mean, it's mind-blowing. I had no idea that the participants were also involved in generating some of the video content that we've just witnessed. But you have hit on something that a lot of photographers, including myself, often overlook. And I did a shoot this morning, and I can tell you now there was zero video content. Okay, and that is to our disadvantage. Okay, I think as photographers, we often underestimate the value of video content and the ability to engage an audience and keep them engaged for a lot longer than a still image possibly can. And the beauty of video is that sure, you can edit and you can present layering and do all sorts of things with still images to create a variety, but it's still essentially that one image, that one pose, and you're just putting different backgrounds, and it kind of becomes static and boring. However, when you generate video content, you're able to then edit them to different soundtrack. You're able to edit the sequencing. You're able to edit the speeds of it. And you can take one clip and edit it 10 different ways, and it'll present 10 very different ways that would be of interest to the audience as well. You know, it'll captivate them, it'll hold their interest, and they'll be able to appreciate what's happened. You can engage in scenes that are not previously shown in one video sequence, but you can bring it forward in another video sequence. And I think enabling or empowering the students in your workshop to be able to generate video content like this and bring their creativity to that also enables them to realize the importance of video in their own business, and then be able to apply it when they leave your workshop and go, hey, I'm doing a shoot, but I need video content. You know, I need to plan it this way, and I need to set it up this way and organize it this way. So I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It definitely transcends anything that they're doing photographically, because right now, the clients, they are all wanting not only the photographic side, but they want the video production side. You know, I actually just spoke to one of my photographers that is named Randy Parietti, who's you know, attended many workshops. He's done maybe 8 workshops over time, and he just approached me with a huge campaign. It's a 6-figure ad campaign that they specifically are requesting video. And he's like, you know, but it's a great opportunity because Randy has, you know, worked with me. He's, you know, been able to understand what that means and what we can bring to the table, and offering that extra value, that added value to the client is absolutely key. Now, another thing that I did want to talk about is, you know, we're talking about all this great fashion content, and fashion is amazing, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about lifestyle photography, because in the photographic world, even though I'm shooting campaigns for Burberry, I just got asked to do Dior, I just got asked to do Revolve. I also, where I make, you know, a lot of my revenue is actually off of shooting large scale lifestyle advertising campaigns, whether it's health and pharma, whether it's beverage. I've shot campaigns for Pepsi, for Smirnoff, Miller Lite, Coors Light. I do a ton of beverage. And you know, and what I love to showcase is the ability to create a full-scale commercial lifestyle photographic portfolio and reel. And this gives you a little bit of an idea of some of the stuff that we're doing actually at our Newport Beach workshops experience, or what we just did in our Miami Beach experience last week, or what we're doing at our upcoming DC experience that we have coming up in a few weeks. We're giving the photographers an opportunity to create mind-blowing video production to do, you know, to build this unbelievable commercial reel, and then be able to walk away with content that they can then use to market themselves, to land full-scale 6-figure campaigns. And I think that's really, really, really valuable and important, because the video and doing large-scale commercial production allows you to get into doing broadcast commercials. So not only are you a photographer, but you can also direct broadcast commercials that, you know, that really transcend what you could ever think was possible. But as a photographer, innately, you're a director, you're a creative person. So why not be able to take it up a notch? Not only create that epic photographic editorial or advertising campaign, but also film the epic commercial production for the client, just like you see here. This was shot at Tanaka Farms in the Newport Beach area, and he created this, you know, amazing scene with, you know, with top models, and it was over the top. And this is the kind of stuff that, you know, my photographers are just like, you know, it's right out of a dream, this kind of production. And we do a ton of this stuff, you know, whether it's, you know, on location in Newport Beach, or whether we're doing it in Chicago, where, you know, we're shooting these, you know, with a gypsy van or horse, and we're creating this amazing story with these unbelievable models that we flew in from all over the country. But this kind of stuff is where a lot of photographers don't realize that they are, this is where a lot of the money is being made in photography, is doing the commercial lifestyle side. So in addition to high fashion editorial, we also have the opportunity to do high-end commercial lifestyle.
Correct. And I think you've just hit the nail right on the head. A lot of people tend to focus on fashion and beauty and think that that's all there is to it. In terms of the actual, what do you call it, the opportunities for work, when in fact the reality is that there is a lot of people that are demanding or requesting content that is lifestyle, commercial orientated. And it is very important for a photographer, I think, to have that versatility and that flexibility to be able to produce the type of content that the different audiences do require. So if you do approach a client and they turn around and say, yeah, we've got this fashion and beauty concept down pat, but we're looking for something that would more reflect the everyday nature of our product or our services and so on and so forth. And that becomes more of a lifestyle type shoot then rather than a static or a dynamic fashion and beauty campaign. So if a photographer can then transcend from his fashion and beauty experience to produce something that is lifestyle, commercial, then he becomes more valuable to the client because now the photographer is more versatile, he's more skilled and more versatile. The client is then able to stick with someone that they know that has a skill set that they can then appreciate and leverage and get more out of.
100%. And one thing that I love to showcase is to give you guys a little bit better of an idea of who I am and what I do. I also want to showcase what a professional commercial reel looks like. And I'm going to show you our video reel for my production reel. This is the kind of stuff that's landing these campaigns for Burberry and landing these campaigns for some of these huge clients.
And epic adrenaline-filled challenges, but it seems there's no way you can make it, but you'll find a way.
So my East Coast production team, Indigo Productions, this is our high-end reel for that. And I wanted to showcase this because about half of the content on here was shot at our commercials, with celebrities as well as content from my TV show. But the other half is actually shot at our photographic workshops. And the reason that, the workshops are so epic is because I'm going to use this content to market our world-class productions, to land, massive scale productions and huge campaigns. So the quality of the experiences of the workshops have to be so epic that they have to work in line with the same production quality as my other six-figure campaigns. And as you can see here, this is all shot. It works seamlessly between workshop productions, between commercials that we film, between my television content, and even celebrities. It all actually intermeshes really, really seamlessly together in our, our full-scale reel for my Indigo team.
Once again, Kevin, I think you've hit the nail right on the head, as it were, as in your body of work that you are showcasing to your clients to enable you to be able to secure your next campaign and all the rest of it has to be at a certain standard. There has to be some consistency in the quality of the work that you produce. There has to be some consistency in the production methodologies and the approach you take to these various campaigns. And these consistencies and these methodologies have to be there to be able to achieve the success that you want, not only in this campaign, but to be able to apply it to your next campaign and the campaign after, and so on and so forth. And with that wealth of experience and that knowledge and the successes that you've had, I think you put yourself in a very unique position where you are able to then not only share that that experience with your students and your candidates that do attend workshops and so on and so forth, but be able to direct them and develop them because you have actually been there and done it yourself. You actually know what it is like to be there. And so you're able to give them far more feedback, influence, and attention than someone who is purely talking about it from a theoretical perspective and saying, you need to get this right, you need to get this right, you need to get this right. Whereas coming in there and saying, hey, look, we were there on this prop break, we had to work around it, the storyline had to change, we had to modify the campaign, and being able to educate people on how you achieved all of those things and how things do go wrong on a shoot, I'm sure. No matter how well planned and executed it is, things can still go wrong. Not that they do, but they can go wrong.
Always. They always go wrong. Absolutely. 100%.
You need to be able to to adapt. Am I right? To be able to adapt and look at it and say, look, the end goal is this sort of a campaign. How can we work around the setbacks we have now to still be able to achieve the end result of a campaign that the client is going to be very, very happy with?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'll show you an example. There's a story that we shot that ended up getting published in your magazine as the cover. And also we ended up, this was at our Elite Masterclass in LA, and we shot with a supermodel. But the coolest thing is that not only did we get it published on the cover of your magazine, but the photographer that shot this at our workshop ended up winning the #1 fashion photographer in the world award in the One Island Awards from this image. Okay, so #1 in the world, and these are some of the biggest names in photography. These are some world-class photographers like Michael Schoenfield, Stan Muselik. These are some of the biggest photographers in the world, and he actually won from this image. During this production, like literally when this image was shot, we had this huge scale setup because we're trying to create wind out here in the desert, and there was no wind at this desert studio with the water studio. And we had like 6 5-foot diameter fans mounted on a pickup truck that was parked in the water. And that was one of the ways we did it, because the prior time, which was the time we shot this, the fans were mounted on top of a piece of scaffolding, and the wind picked up, and the entire scaffolding and parachute blew into the model and literally knocked the model off of the platform. And actually the model, so like really, literally as this image was shot, within 3 seconds, the model got knocked off of the platform, and I had to actually physically catch her before she hit the water in this like $10,000 dress. So that kind of stuff happens all the time. Things always go wrong, no matter how well you plan, no matter how great your production is. So a few ways that I incorporate to be able to be still making sure that the production's perfect is having details heavily put together ahead of time, having extra assistants. You know, I just put on this epic production in Miami Beach. It was a swim and lifestyle production, and I had 5 assistants on set. You know, and, you know, we had a nice small group of photographers, and I mean, the amount of attention to the photographers was unbelievable, because I had 5 assistants, you know, and we're out there in 30-mile-an-hour winds, and the assistants were holding the giant bounces and scrims by hand instead of using equipment, because the wind would have just blown it away and it would have became a major danger. But things like that, the little things, making sure that every detail. And also, when you're dealing with fashion productions, oftentimes the fashion stylists, who are, you know, incredible at what they do, there are a lot of fashion stylists that maybe don't bring enough wardrobe, or they, you know, or if they flake on you at the last minute, which has happened to many photographers. I always am extra prepared. I personally, in addition to hiring a world-class celebrity fashion stylist, I personally buy about $30,000 in wardrobe before the shoot to use on the shoot, in addition to what my stylist pulls. And then I return the wardrobe afterwards to all of the brands and stores. But because I'm extra careful, just in case we don't have enough, just in case that stylist doesn't show up, I am always prepared to make sure that everything is completely over the top and perfect at all times. It is absolutely key and important to me. And you know, and as you know, and I'd love to, you know, showcase some of the content that was shot during the production that we actually shot for your magazine, and I might even show a couple of extra images. But I'd really love to showcase some of the content that we shot, and to give your viewers an idea of what it was like shooting for No. 8 magazine. At one of these, you know, amazing experiences. But creating a production like this, it's so complex to photograph with parachutes inside of a scene with top models and airplanes at an airfield with the kind of wind that we had. The amount of complexity, the amount of extra production that you have to have on a set like this, it is very, very important. Just all of the details, all of the, you know, from the models to the casting, all of the little aspects. I am so overly prepared because I want to make sure that when everything comes together, that we have absolute perfection. because I want nothing better. When I showcase my work or my photographer's work, I want to make sure that they see nothing but perfection for number 8 magazine.
I think, this extra wardrobe concept is perfect. I totally agree with that as well. One of the main reasons why I try to do a very similar thing, although my productions are at a much smaller scale, is that we have a perception of how a particular outfit is going to work on a particular model, and we say, okay, look, if it doesn't work with her, we'll try it on her. And then we find that this outfit just did not work with both of these models. What are we going to do? It's one of 5 key outfits. Whereas if you have these extra outfits, you can bring it out and say, hey, look, I know that didn't work, but let's try this because I think this is going to work. And you can bring that out. Or you have a wardrobe malfunction. They're dressing up or whatever it is, and they've accidentally tripped and fallen, the zipper's torn apart, and you've lost an outfit. So having that extra outfit or having alternatives to what you originally planned with allows you to still progress whatever it is you're doing, be it a workshop or a campaign, and being able to still deliver. Redundancy in not only props, but in terms of wardrobe, in terms of models, in terms of equipment and everything like that is very, very, very important. This editorial that we are just about to release in the magazine is absolutely phenomenal. And I think people will probably see a little bit of this editorial before they actually get to see the video. But this is amazing. I mean, to be able to work on a location with so many different aircraft of different era, and being able to put it all together with a wardrobe that complements it, looks still contemporary, but with elements of a vintage style that they bring to it. It's extremely well put together. Even just the subtleties of the image we're looking at now, with where we're seeing the shadow and the separation between the feet from the ground, and the shadow looks as though it's actually leaping off the ground as well. And I think all of these subtle elements contribute to make an image. I must admit, I didn't even notice the aircraft on the far right. I was just transfixed with the model, and I was not analyzing, probably the wrong word, but admiring the lines and how the shadow has worked to really draw the attention to not only the model, but to the image as a whole.
100%. And in this image shot by one of our photographers, John Wooten, on location at our Elite Masterclass, it was so epic because this image was perfect out of camera, no retouching. Literally, this image was perfectly, we made it black and white, but as far as everything was shot in camera, and this is why I'm so proud of my photographers, is that they're able to create, images like this that just are truly iconic images. This is literally at the level of Armani or GQ. This is at such a high level, and be able to create this right out of camera at one of our experiences. And I believe this is the first workshop that John had attended. And he's kind of a newer photographer that's transitioning, and to create something at this scale, it literally catapults him to the top of the industry.
Again, completely agree with you. If I saw this image standing alone, with a well-known fashion label name associated with it, I would not hesitate to consider it part of the campaign. I would not think twice that it could not be anything else but a campaign image. And presenting photographers with the opportunity to be able to capture these images with, as you correctly said, with models who are able to deliver, who've got not only the looks, but also the experience to be able to work with photographers in a dynamic environment, and with multiple photographers pointing cameras at them, and then being able to deliver, and having the assistance of production behind the scenes to be able to coordinate, wardrobe stylists, makeup artists, and hairstylists, and assistants that are what's the word for it? Well aware of what you are trying to achieve and how it needs to be achieved, and are ready there then to immediately step in and take over whatever is needed to be able to achieve it. A scrim's just blown over, step in, get another scrim, get it here, we need it in this position, the sun's coming from here, bang. All of that is all planned out, all worked out. by yourself and your team, and the photographers are there just to enjoy all your hard work.
Absolutely, absolutely. I do it all for them. I've been doing this a long time, and even though I'm extremely busy on, I've got another TV show that I'm going to be filming in France at my 49-room castle in France, which I'll be talking about shortly. I'll be filming another TV show for that, as well as a continuation of Great Escapes, my TV show that's the travel show airing around the world. But I also, I'm filming large-scale commercials. I'm shooting photographic ad campaigns. I'm direct, but I always make time for my photographers to direct these experiences and give them the opportunity to photograph the greatest images of their lifetime. And I've had photographers photograph for 40 years or even 50 years, and then they walk on set and they photograph something and it just blows their mind. I've even had photographers, I had a gentleman that had shot 8 covers of Vogue. And then he came to our workshop at our Elite Masterclass in LA, and the images that he shot were so epic that he used those in his portfolio as his new portfolio, and was so excited and so proud of what he shot and so happy about what we did. He ended up actually hiring my team as his creative consultants to get him back to the top, getting him back into Rolling Stone, getting him back into Vanity Fair. And that's the kind of thing, like we're offering a level of production that's beyond anything else out there. And that's what I'm really proud of.
Again, this is what you gain when you work with a highly experienced and highly resourced team that is able to bring and present a perspective that you may not necessarily have considered or experienced up till now. You may have done many large productions, as in a photographer may have done many large productions, but when you start doing these things, sometimes you get stuck into a rut and you end up doing it the same way. You approach it the same way. You have very similar ideas in terms of what a campaign should look like and all the rest of it. And you end up with campaigns that are very hard to be differentiated between one label's campaign and another label's campaign. If you put them side by side, they often can look very similar because a photographer has a comfort zone in which they are operating. Whereas when they attend a workshop like this, they're presented with things that are outside of their comfort zone in terms of location, the props, the concept, and the production of it. And they're forced to rethink the way they work and redevelop their own skill sets and their own creative minds, creative processes, and then apply that to what they're doing on the day and compete with others who may not necessarily have their same experience as what they have had, but are producing amazing results. And then these experienced photographers are then forced to go, hey, look, we've got to stop thinking that we've done there, we've been there, we've done it, Sure, you may have, but you have been there and it's past sense. This is where you are now. Can you work this set, this prop, these models, this concept, and achieve what you think you can achieve?
Absolutely. This is critically important. And, and obviously we're looking at some of the fashion content here, but I also wanted to showcase some of the lifestyle content, which to me is actually a lot more complicated to photograph, because when we're shooting something like this, this is some of the stuff that we shot at the Newport Beach experiences. This is a lot more complicated than a fashion scene. Is a fashion scene, they're generally giving more serious expressions, they're not moving. When you're shooting lifestyle, which is in line with commercial lifestyle advertising and the larger scale productions, there are stories that we're telling that are complex. There are so many things going on, and also making sure that the wardrobe is in line with something that feels
Kevin,
timeless.
Can I just interrupt you there?
Sure.
Could we carry this on in a second session? The reason why I'm asking is I'd like people to be able to replay, consider, and digest the information that we have considered so far.
Absolutely.
And then be able to come back to something like this, because that's a whole new area. And
I would be honored. I would be absolutely honored. I think that sounds like a great idea. The last thing that I wanted to mention before we go is in line with all of this epic fashion content, and I'd love to work with you in the future on this too, because I know you've expressed interest, is my 49-room castle in France. And this is something that we're filming actually 2 of my TV shows there, and one that the travel show, and then also another show that's going to actually feature the castle in another way, in another light. And we're working on developing that. So something like this, this is beyond imaginable what you can create at a location like this. And I've been blessed because now that I've had a lot of success in my career, my photographic career, and I've been able to buy this 49-room castle in France. And it's from the 13th century, and unbelievable destination in Massiat-en-Cambrai in central France. And we also offer a world-class, high-fashion photographic workshop on location at this destination that I'm really excited about. And I know you personally wanted to attend this one. And this is an experience that's unlike anything that we do. Because it's not only is a 49-room castle, but we have a massage room in the southeast tower. We actually are putting in a jacuzzi on the 6th level of the square tower. We have a ballroom that was designed for Rudolf Nureyev, the most famous male ballet dancer of all time, on the 3rd level. We have, and at the photographic experience, what's special about this one is that the photographers get to stay at the castle. They get to stay in this 49-room castle, and they get this luxury experience where they're served by butlers, maids, masseuses. It is an incredible experience, 5-star, and on top of that, they're going to get to photograph 4 days of massive scale fashion production on location at this castle. And that's what's really special, because to own the location, we can do anything that we want at this destination. And it's something that I'm really, really proud of, and I'm so excited to showcase. And I'm sure we're going to be publishing many editorials also in your magazine.
Absolutely, that would be fantastic. I also do want to come back to this as well in the second half of our Zoom session, Kevin, because I think that having some idea as to what you have in your workshop schedule will also empower the photographers then to be able to decide, hey, look, we really want to focus on this, we want to focus on that. I'd like to budget for this. How can I try and combine the 2 workshops together, and the opportunities to be able to participate in as many of these opportunities as possible, so that as we are coming out of this COVID-19 environment, economic, not only just economic, but also social, lifestyle, business environment as a result of COVID-19, we then have the necessary material with which we can then go out and achieve the kind of successes that we wish to achieve. So I think we really do need to have a chat to you also about your schedule, your workshop series schedule, and how people can, whether you offer any package deals where people can participate in 2 or 3 workshops a year at, a slight benefit, as it were, to the photographer, or anything else like that may be going. I think it'd be worthwhile knowing about. But this castle is fantastic. I would really, really love to come there. I've got some amazing ideas myself of what I would like to shoot there, both during the day and in the evening. And so I think the elements of the workshop series that you have, as well as the from the fashion and beauty perspective, as well as the lifestyle perspective. So let's catch up again very, very, very soon. And it was fantastic talking with you. And thank you so much for entrusting your amazing work and that of your amazing photographers with our humble and small magazine. We're proud to have been able to feature work from your productions in the past. And I know, for one, because I know the content that's in there, I'm extremely proud and excited to be able to bring this new volume out with your workshop content as the front and back cover of volume 36. So without giving away too much more of the content that's in there, we will call it a wrap. And finish off with whatever you would like to say, Kevin, and perhaps allude people to what we could look for in the second half of this amazing chat with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been an honor, and thank you so much. And I'm really, excited to collaborate with your magazine and to feature our amazing photographers in it and on the cover. I look forward to, in the next session to be able to talk more about commercial lifestyle advertising, how to kind of maximize photographers' business, how to, what to do to achieve the kind of grand success that our photographers, many of them wish for, many of them want, many of them are excited about. And to me, that's very, very important to help them achieve greatness, whether they're a portrait photographer, fashion photographer, wedding photographer, it doesn't matter. I actually work with all levels of photographers, even photographers that shoot landscape photography, but to discuss that and how to achieve that. And then also, discuss further the upcoming experiences that we have at our castle. Now, just for this coming year, we have some unbelievable opportunities for our photographers, including we do have an incredible experience on location in DC in May, and we're going to be flying in top models from New York and Miami, which is something that's very, very unique that we're doing, because we're bringing the workshop to DC, but we want to have quality world-class models from the biggest agencies in New York and Miami that we're going to be bringing to the table for this photographic experience in DC. And that's going to be really, really exciting. So we have something coming up in May, and I do believe we have a space left for that, but it's going to be all about commercial lifestyle advertising photography. We also then have a Chicago experience that is going to be all about lifestyle and similar to this, as well as a vintage fashion story that our photographers get to shoot, that they are, which is in the past, we've been doing this for many years. You guys got to see a little clip of it at the Palmer House to get an idea of what we're doing, but it's doing a vintage fashion story that is just totally out of this world and really exciting. We have that opportunity coming up in June. We do it every year in June. This is photographed by one of our attendees, David Gesprecht, at the Chicago experience. This is an incredible experience. We also incorporate animals like horses. We've shot with, this year, just to give you an idea, we've shot with Bactrian double hamper camels, reindeer, alpacas, $50,000 exotic owls, falcons, eagles. We've shot with rearing horses like Lipizan stallions, gypsy vanners, which are the horses with the long manes. And we have so many more things to create and photograph with all kinds of, amazing animals and top models. After that, we have our amazing experiences, from the French castle experience at my castle in France to our New York fashion workshop and our elite masterclass, which is our end cap of the year. And that's where we're actually featuring this unbelievable story for No. 8 magazine, shot at that airfield. We're also going to be bringing it back to the water studio, which we got to feature earlier in this. That was really, really exciting. And the masterclass includes a 5-day massive scale production with fashion and lifestyle photography. So each year, each workshop is totally different. Each year, every single experience has different talent, different locations, different styling, and we create these mind-blowing experiences because our photographic workshop series, our attendees on average enroll in at least 3 to 4 of these experiences per year, and we have a 95% re-enrollment rate. So once they come, they realize how grand this experience is, and they want to come back. So it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me join you. And I can't wait to see this final editorial come out and these amazing covers.
Absolutely. We are really, really looking forward to it. We've just got a little bit more work to do, and the magazine should be out very, very, very soon. Just on a final note, Kevin, is it possible for you to quickly let us know what your social media is and where people can follow you very quickly? We'll keep it nice, sweet and short, because when we do the second session, then we will have it all in text and in links and everything else like that. up for people to see, and so we will finish off in that way. But right now, I know there are people there who will be Googling your name, and they will be looking for. There we go. There we go.
Yep,
And,
Travel to Earth is my main one. I also have Kevin Michael Schmitz and Photography Workshop Series, but this is my main one with 206,000 followers. And you can see all kinds of little clips from my TV show to clips of and photographs and video from what we shot at the production we shot in Vegas that's being featured in this magazine issue as well, including what I'm mostly proud of too is how this last year alone, we won 107 awards in the One Island Awards, the Color Awards, Lurzer's Archive, and Communication Arts. These are all major photographic awards from the attendees, what they shot at our workshop. 107 awards this last year alone, including out of the top 10 fashion photographers in America, 7 out of 10 of them are from the Photography Workshop Series.
That's absolutely fantastic, and I think these awards and the recognition by people outside of these workshops and outside of these events, recognizing your work and the work of your students, I think really speaks volumes. I think that's the way that you can truly independently appraise the value and the success of what you are achieving is through the independent awards. So fantastic. Thank you very, very much, Kevin Michael Schmitz. That was absolutely fantastic. It was a pleasure. And yeah, we can see 2 of the images that are just about to be featured in volume 36, issue 1. So hopefully everyone will look forward to that. And we are certainly looking forward to this volume coming out. And thank you very much once again for being a part of this recorded Zoom session with us. And we look forward to releasing it on our social media and everyone having a wonderful experience with the content in our magazine as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You take care.
My pleasure. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
All right, everyone. We are now going to take some live Q&A, and we can go in depth about some of the stuff that we learned and talked about during this interview with BK from Number 8 magazine. This is actually footage from the shoot that we did in Las Vegas, which is going to be featured for the front cover of Number 8 magazine, featuring Lance Andrews, one of our esteemed photographers that had signed up for, he's come to multiple workshops before. He's also coming to the French Dream Castle experience, which I'm really excited about to bring him out to my castle in France. So this is, I think it's about a 16-page editorial is what it came out to be for the Las Vegas fashion experience in the desert, and then another 16-page editorial for the airfield out from the Elite Masterclass in black and white. And we have a back cover from that, also shot by one of our attendees. Guys, I'd love to for you to ask some questions in the Q&A, and you can go ahead and shoot, and we can answer these live. And I would love to get on with you guys and kind of see if you have any burning questions, what they might be, because this is a great opportunity, because we're all talking about, of course, getting published. So I think that this is something that's really, really important to me. I'm super passionate about this, and I really want to make sure that when I'm working with you guys, my goal is to get you published, have you earn more money per photo shoot, become a more successful photographer. I know one of our photographers discussed today, Remy Vermigilo, who's attended several workshops with us. She has now tripled her income as a photographer since starting to work with us, which I'm really excited about. So guys, go ahead and shoot some questions in the Q&A, and we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. I think that this is a great opportunity. Barathian, I thank you very much for your comments. I really appreciate it. 16 pages from the airfield and about 50 pages for, well, I don't know about 50 pages for Vegas, but it will be a very substantial editorial. It's going to be a really impressive story, fashion story that comes out in number 8 magazine coming out this month. So guys, I'm really mostly proud about the cover. Now, Barathan, to answer your question about how to obtain that, how to obtain getting published, a lot of it comes to do with, it comes down to creating world-class production that is truly iconic. Okay, and that's what we're all about with the Photography Workshop Series, creating images that are iconic. Iconic images are images that stand apart from the rest, images that are so over the top and elite, and images that'll land covers of magazines. This is going to be the front cover of number 8 for this issue. This was shot by Lance Andrews at the Las Vegas Fashion Experience. This one is going to be the back cover. I believe this was from Mike Weilet, who's also attended several workshops with us. Amazing photographer, just joined us down in Miami Beach for an unbelievable Miami Beach workshop experience last week. And in this experience, it's all about creating content that is so over the top that the magazines are desperately excited to publish them. They want to publish stuff that is iconic. Okay, that's very, very important. So creating iconic images is very, very important. I think that it's really important, BK, to really make sure that photographers of all levels are creating content that is iconic and will stand the test of time. Images you can go back later to, your magazine is absolutely spectacular. So I absolutely love this. Excellent questions, guys. And on the Q&A, please ask some questions because now is the time. Now Rakesh Malik, you're one of my wonderful photographers that's taken, I believe, 3 workshops with us, Rakesh. So good to see you on. You asked a question, do you have a list of recommendations about where to submit for publication? Any advice on how to get it? BK put on their submissions for number 8 magazine, which is excellent. Thank you very much for putting that on there. Also, you can get published in number 8 if BK loves your work. And then there's also obviously hundreds and hundreds of magazines out there. I recommend the best methodology, Rakesh, is to go and seek out which magazines you want to get published in. What does that look like? Do you want to be in Vogue, Vanity Fair, Harper's Bazaar? Do you want to shoot for Flaunt magazine? Do you want to shoot for Interview magazine? What is it that, WWD, what is the publication you want to shoot for, and start targeting those magazines? Now, one of the things, the activities, I always love to do is I like to research magazines and find out who the photo editors are, who the fashion editors are, building relationships with them, and then submitting my content to them for publication, because they're always looking for content. They're coming out with new stuff all the time. And listen, now is a better time than ever before to get published because budgets have definitely regressed. So there's less money in editorial. There's really, not much. So most of the time, photographers are doing this for free and maybe even spending money on the production and not getting recouped. So a lot of times magazines are just very eager to publish your work if it's large scale production. So content, Rakesh, that you shoot at our epic workshops, like you've done, content that is shot that is clearly iconic, that content will get published. You just need to submit it. And I recommend getting published worldwide. So, number 8 is out of Australia. I recommend magazines all over America, Europe, Asia. You can even have the same editorial published in 4 different magazines around the world. So please definitely do that. I think it's really, really important to get out there and get published as much as possible because it really gives more gravitas to who you are as a photographer. So, and then definitely, Rakesh, building relationships, getting in touch, talking to them, staying front of mind so your work is always in front of them. Very, very, very important because a lot of times, you might make one phone call or send some image, but then that gets lost and they forget about who you are. Right. So that to me is really important, is to make sure that I'm always front of mind. I'm always in the face of that magazine and they know who I am. Absolutely vital to success. And without that, if they don't know who I am and they're just, they maybe saw one image of mine or whatever, but I'm not front of mind, they're going to be bombarded with all these other amazing fashion images that other photographers are shooting. you know. So and then also, you know, I think it's also important to submit for awards, you know, just like this with John Wooten. Not only is he getting published in this magazine, but John also won in the Top Fashion Photographers in America award this year. And I'm super proud of him because that's a really big accomplishment. And for him to achieve that kind of greatness, I'm really proud of John for achieving that, because John was able to, you know, not only get published and shoot some of the greatest content he's ever shot in his life with us, but also creating content that is iconic and award winning. Very, very important, because it's all award-winning content. And John has created some, you know, mind-blowing work that really stands out above the rest. And to see all of these award-winning photographers that have attended our workshops in this last year, I mean, it's really, really impressive. And I'm really proud of those photographers. And many of them are on this webinar right now, which I'm super excited about. I know Crystal Bear she just attended an epic experience with us in Miami Beach that was absolutely mind-blowing. And she, you know, is getting published in this issue as well. It's really, really exciting. And I can't wait till many of you guys, the rest of you guys, I mean, I know David Gesbrecht has shot and won awards that are from our workshops, which I'm really proud of. We have, I know Kelvin Fields, we're going to see you coming up in some upcoming experiences. You as well, Carrie Wetzel. Cannot wait to work with you down in DC. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. We're putting on an experience that is just out of this world. Good to see you, Ken Sexton. We've got so many of these photographers that have attended workshops, that are coming to workshops. Phil and Roy, you're just in Miami Beach. Prince Williams, good to see you, buddy. And then, my goodness, yeah, we've got a lot of past photographers and current photographers. And also, guys, I also want to make sure to make sure that all of you set up a one-on-one photographic session, a momentum session with one of our elite photographic consultants, because to me, it's really key and critical for us to help photographers and to give you, all of you, an opportunity to succeed. And whether that's coaching you on your photographic business, how to make more money in your photography, how to win awards, how to get published, how to take it up to the next level, how to book more clients, maybe even just reviewing your portfolio and talking to a specialist. We have an elite team of photographic consultants that I work with personally that can go over with you. So make sure to click on that. And thanks, BK. A great idea to work out your skills and direction and guidance. Go ahead and click on that link, you guys, in the chat to jump on and set up a dedicated one-on-one session. And BK, I know we just had an amazing interview, but I do want to hear from you as far as this issue. What makes Number 8 magazine essentially something that does stand out from other publications? What about this magazine, that you find is so special? And for me, BK, what I think is really special is that I think that, creating content that showcasing iconic images and showcasing the creative side of photography is something that's really, really important. And I'm really, really, grateful for this amazing interview. And I'd love to hear from you for any, any other additional tidbits as far as, what you look for in photographers to get published, because I know that was a great question that was asked. So, so BK, I know you're on here. I'd love for you to answer that question as far as, when photographers are looking to get published, what are you looking for from those photographers when getting published? Oh, you're still muted, by the way.
I will unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks very much, Kevin. Very, very honored to be here on this. My apologies. I'm at the veterinarian at the moment. My dog was very ill last night, and so I've been here all night except for about half an hour to have a quick shower and change. So still at the vet's. Fortunately, he's pulled through and blah, blah, blah. To get back to your question, look, I think creativity, originality, concept, storylines, all these things come into consideration when you are looking at a cover image from an editorial set. The other thing also we try to look for is something that's not necessarily repeated frequently, concepts that are not reattempted without significant difference improvement. And this is what we really, really liked with, this is not the first time there has been a shoot in an airfield. This is not the first time there's been a shoot in a desert. But the way that you guys have done it and executed it, and the way your team has put together a series of images that are totally different from whatever else is out there. And that's what stands out. You know, it really, you know, we look at it and we go, there is no way that we can say no to this. We want this and we want to feature it. And that's what drew us to it. When it comes to the magazine, when it comes to Number 8 magazine, we not only look for images that transcend time, that also stand the test of time, but we as a magazine also have decided that we wanted to stand out by not dating and timestamping our magazine. So it is also timeless. When you pick up a volume of Number 8 magazine, you don't see a date on it. So people don't know whether it is 6 months old or whether it's 1 day old. They look through it and they appreciate it for the artistic value that's in the magazine. And this is why we're very, very different. So this is our front cover, for example, and we don't have text all over it. We don't have dates all over it. We just have our logo to identify the magazine, and we have our front cover identified with the logo either at the bottom or the top, and our back cover with the logo in the middle. And that is purely and simply our identification mark. And we're very, on the spine, we have the volume number and the issue number. And we think that we want our magazine, we call ourselves the Creatives Portfolio Magazine. So we want our magazine to be something that creatives can take around as their portfolio and showcase it 6 months after it's been published, and people will still look at it and go, wow, not, oh, it's 6 months old, because there's a date on it.
Excellent.
And I think this is a way that creatives are able to leverage greater value from being published in our magazine in comparison to many other publications that are out there. Or just one other thing too, with our magazine, we also like to give your images the maximum coverage that they can. So we want your image to take up an entire page or an entire double page spread. And not cut into rectangles and place 3 images on 1 page and so on and so forth. And when you think about it that way, you as a photographer need to look at your images and say, how is this image going to look as a full page or a full double page in a magazine? And try and shoot towards those goals, because that's what the magazine wants, is an image that they can leverage to showcase their magazine as well. We want someone seeing an image in our magazine and going, bang, we want to be there. We want to buy that magazine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it is impressive. I mean, this content is unbelievable. And I'm really proud of this feature editorial that we shot, BK, for your publication, because I think it is really spectacular. And I'm really impressed at what our photographers were able to shoot. And we're able to feature, you know, I mean, I think in this issue, we probably have, goodness, like probably 12 of our photographers published in this issue alone, which I'm really proud of, as far as them and their images being featured, which is really spectacular. And I know we have some upcoming issues of Number 8 that we're going to be publishing in as well for some additional editorials from our different productions that we've done, because the scale of them are so grandiose. And that's probably helpful for you as a magazine owner, because, you know, having something at this large scale production kind of scale, a lot of fashion editorials aren't at this scale. They're not with this massive scale production. And it's really exciting to see something like this, right, BK? I mean, it really adds a lot of gravitas to your publication.
Absolutely. No denying that, Kevin. It certainly does contribute to the credibility of our magazine, and we in turn contribute to the credibility of the creatives that are being featured in this. But one of the great things that you also achieve and the photographers achieve is that they are then able to network with other people that have been featured in the magazine, and the people that haven't quite achieved this are able to look at it and say, this is where we want to be. How can we get there? what are the workshop series about, and discover methods to get themselves there through the workshop series, and being able to develop their skills so that they are then able to have much bigger and better editorial sets that they can then present to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to be an inspiration. This is just a little bit of a sneak peek of what the editorial spread is going to look like. You know, really proud of this type of story that was shot on location on Cracked Earth Desert and also at the Red Rock Canyons right outside of Las Vegas. Really spectacular content and unbelievable locations that are just out of this world. And we're going to be doing stuff like this next year in Vegas. We've got one scheduled for next March. If you didn't get a chance to come this year or last year, we're going to do this again because it was so elite, so over the top. You know, getting permits through these locations and getting out to these locations using motorhomes and RVs and production equipment and stuff like that. It was a challenge, but and enduring the windstorms that we had and everything. But overall, you know, we created just absolute magic with our photographers. And thank you so much, BK, for joining us. I really appreciate you and everything you do. I'm really impressed at, you know, your magazine, and I'm really proud of this epic, you know, series of stories coming out. But thank you so much, BK, for joining us.
My absolute pleasure, Kevin. And thank you to yourself and your amazing team of photographers, makeup artists, stylists, production assistants, videographers. Everyone came together to produce something that is absolutely mammoth and that we're very, very proud to have showcased, and credit to all of the creatives involved, because without them, this would not have happened.
Excellent. Thank you, BK. And this video is also going to be in rebroadcast. You know, we usually get anywhere from 1,000 to 15,000 views in rebroadcast on our YouTube channel. So, you know, I'm hoping you guys can also share this around to everyone you know as well. I know this is going to be released this month in May. You know, the final issue will be both in print and on digital. So thanks, BK. Take care. And thanks for joining us. All
Absolutely.
right.
Thank you. My honor.
All right, guys. And to see, you know, this full editorial, I mean, it's just wow. The locations, the styling, the models that we had that flew in. We had a top girl that had flew in from Amsterdam. The girl here in the magenta dress here at the top. The rest of the models were all flown in from Los Angeles, and you know, the production was just out of this world. And also one thing to always think about when you are shooting editorial, just kind of some things that are challenging that editors like and owners of magazines like BK are looking for is double page spreads. I like to shoot a lot of double page spreads. You notice a lot of these are double page spreads, but you notice how everything's cropped. You notice that there's not a the center line is not going through a person's face. That's very important. So there was a lot of careful selection and cropping within these images to make sure that the double page spread looks nice and that the face is not in the gutter. That is something to always look for. And I always do recommend shooting stuff where there is negative space off to one side if possible. And if it's not possible, at least having something like this where the faces are off to the right, you know, et cetera. So this is just, you know, images. And this is actually going to be a huge editorial. I'm not sure how many pages we're going to get, but it looks like a ton. This image alone with the parachute was out of this world, very complex to shoot. We had to actually set up a, we had to attach the parachute to like a steel, you know, metal bar that was cemented into the ground to be able to have that parachute not blow away. So it was very, very challenging. And we shot with giant bounces, reflectors, and also with strobes on that. But shooting throughout this story, bringing in animals that our production coordinator, Priscilla Evans, brought to the table, that was pretty amazing as well. So really, really exciting. And I can't wait to, you know, to see this into final publication. And also the video that came out on this was just absolutely insane, that will come out and accompany this epic, absolutely epic production. So, so guys, if you have any last questions, now is a great time to ask. And also make sure to set up one of those strategy sessions with us if you haven't already. But I'm been so honored to have all of us, all of our amazing photographers, so many photographers publish and winning awards, getting in number 8 magazine, and also in some of the upcoming issues of number 8 magazine from some of our additional editorials that we shot between our amazing workshops we've done over the last year. Really, really exceptional. And this year alone, we just got back from the Miami Beach workshop, which was literally the greatest Miami Beach swim and lifestyle workshop we've ever done, to the Las Vegas experience, which you're seeing here, to the Newport Beach experience that we just did on lifestyle. That was just unbelievable, out of this world. And then of course we've got our DC experience coming up here in just like 2 weeks, which we are counting down the days and creating just a production that's going to be out of this world. So, and flying in top models from New York, from Miami, from LA. It's going to be unbelievable. So guys, it's been such a pleasure joining us. I'm really glad you got to watch that interview with us and participate in the Q&A. And I cannot wait to see you at one of these epic upcoming experiences. So take care and let's make magic happen together.